Hello. 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 That's right. We're back. I'm back again. This is the third day in a row I've streamed, which I don't think I've ever streamed 3 days in a row straight. I usually am a once a week Andy at best. Like you're lucky if you get 2 streams from me a week. 3 days in a row is actually unprecedented. But case 4 of Great Ace Attorney 2 is really good, and the pressure is ramping up, and I'm probably not gonna be able to stream. I have a bunch of closing shifts for work, like in a row. Starting tomorrow, I basically don't have a free evening for like the entire week. Uh, and yes, I know I could just stream during the day, but which I might move to at some point. I've started auditioning for more like local theater stuff, and if I get cast in something like that, I will probably pivot to more daytime streams. Um, and also not this many streams, not 3 days in a row. But I want to play more Great Ace Attorney, and I don't want to wait 2 weeks to play more Great Ace Attorney, which is what would be happening if we didn't play today. So, fuck it, we do it live. We're doing it live. There's no music yet. I feel awkward. But yeah, because yesterday I streamed. Yeah, I was streaming Great Ace Attorney yesterday, and then I was streaming Civ as well this week. So yeah, big boy week, big boy streaming week. I'd love to stream this often. Well, it would be fun to stream this often. Is it going to happen? Probably not. I just happen to have 3 days in a row. 2 days in a row, I don't have evening plans, so. Here we are, there's that old familiar feeling again. The familiar feeling of streaming. Bum, 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 bum. Familiar feeling of being in a courtroom. Oh wait, I didn't post the link. I just copied it. I didn't put it. Bum, 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 bum. There's that feeling, that funny feeling, the crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no. It's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. Jojo. There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. Yeah, Von Zeke's just like hanging out with me, like out here. So odd. A little more courtesy, if you please. I can hear your internal monologuing over there. However, you're certainly not mistaken. This trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details. However, I understand that no jury has been selected. What? No jury system? No jury? No jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago. Uh-oh, a closed court. Good morning, my dear fellow. Mr. Sholmes. Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Narahode? An outright victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ha! What to one man is a little hair problem, is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. My bowels! They really hurt! idea how my stomach ails me this morning. My whole system it's fucked up. Oh dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Schultz. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And you. I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the blackwoods of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor. And that would be your eye for a good lawyer, sir. These two have not interacted much. This is interesting to see them on the same screen at all. Mr. Sholmes, after all, behind this lawyer there is a very great mind. My own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. You do know I'm the defendant and not the prosecutor, right? Yes, I definitely knew that before now. Sorry to barge in. Who's this? Ginny? Yeah. Or is that Mikatoba? I don't know who said that. Gina? What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose. Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium? It's been postponed, so I have some free time. They postponed it for this trial, yeah. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. Wow, the whole cast is here for this one. Oh boy. No pressure. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Dun 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 dun. Order. Oh, yes, Gina? Why do you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him what killed the boss. I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. What if it weren't him? Who was it? I don't know that yet. I don't care who calls him what. Sorry. A drink of water, preparing myself for a trial. I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him. Fiery eyes, indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. Eh? At least that may be some solace to the deceased. Gina is very much torn up by this, which is crazy, because her relationship with Inspector Gregson started with him, like, arresting her, and now... I still can't believe the victim is Greg Gregson. We didn't even see his body or interact with him this case before he died. So it's a complete mystery to us as to why and what. We really don't know anything. This may be the least we know going into a trial. We have the Red-Headed League, this photo of Mr. Vigil, the guy we were supposed to locate. We got distracted. This note that I don't know why we still even have this, to be honest. This was to get us in to talk to Governor Caden. This is Dr. Vigil losing his job. The image of Mrs. Vigil at the scene of the crime. Like, there's some stuff, there's like a couple things from the scene of the crime, but we really don't have that much, like, solid evidence that is proven to be related to this case. Please, Odo. Get whoever did this. For the boss. Oh, Gina. I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you gotta find who done this and make the wretch pay. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom, please. Alright then. Here we go. Oh wait, Von Zeeks isn't on the stand. I'm glad I didn't pour a glass of wine for this. I was just thinking about how I didn't, and I might have to go pour one later for like the bit when he pulls it out. But he's not the prosecutor. We're not. We probably, unless Von Zeeks brought some wine on the way here, which I doubt he did because he came straight from the prison. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Von Zeeks, are you ready for the big boy trial? The big boy trial. What am I saying? One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all those dark events. And whatever truth is revealed. This was me talking the whole time. This is my monologue now. We're going to have to look it straight in the eye. I don't know if that was supposed to be me talking or Sholmes talking, but I don't know why they showed Sholmes there at the end. 2nd November, 9:20 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. No jury. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant, Barak Von Zeeks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, Kazuma-sama. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels... But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind this scourge. In other words, this isn't just a trial for Gregson's murder. It's a lot more far-reaching. The truths revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions throughout the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial, with no members of the public present, by Her Majesty's direct orders. Her Majesty's direct orders? Holy crap. We got the Queen in on this. We got the Queen in on this shit. Alright, let's go. Let's go! How will that work, my lord? The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. If you've played the other Ace Attorney games, it's like that. I'm in charge. Nobody else matters. The jurors' bench shall remain vacant. If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord? They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial. I thought you just said there was no judiciary. This is a very unusual trial already. There is, of course, another, unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma. Very well. Let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please. Certainly, my lord. I have chills right now. It might be because the AC just turned on and I'm not wearing a shirt. Or it might be because this case is epic. I don't know why I keep checking audio level. The audio is great. This stream is going great. The incident took place on 1st November, just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street, on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson. A name well known in this court, yes, not least for his miraculous resolution of one of the country's grimmest cases 10 years ago. The Professor case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported at the same time. Oh god, we have witnesses we haven't met yet. That's right. A number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The classic room layout evidence. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly. How has the range been determined? There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range. So how was he shot point-blank from the front without Von Zeke seeing who took the shot? That's the question. I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Captain. The autopsy report is... Okay. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim. And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm? No, my lord. Not conclusively. Bravo, Kazuma-sama, for not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven. When its provenance can't be proven. That's funny. Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There is a candelabra mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please. As you wish, my lord. The crime scene floor plan has been entered into the court record. Okay. Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode? No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. It's not huge bone pun. But there is precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other. When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside, holding the revolver. He was holding the revolver? The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot. So, the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. A name, please, counsel. Naturally, the accused himself. Let's go. We get to hear Von Karma talk. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, alt-tabbing into the game is easier than pressing that button. Naturally, the accused himself. The accused himself! Lord Von Zeeks! As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth. Why am I hearing... Are you guys hearing the sirens? The game got quiet, right as... Very well, let the defendant take the witness stand. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Brock Von Zeeks, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Von Zeeks, that you heard Prosecutor Asogi's opening pieces. I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question, and what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Von Zeeks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. But since you became known as the Reaper, A part of me has been dreading it. Yo, I'm glad Von Zeeks gets to talk, gets to state his side. Where he's just gonna sit quietly the whole time. And I love doing the Von Zeeks voice acting. I love acting. Acting stream. Witness testimony. We haven't done a great deduction funny Sholmes dance yet. I guess this case has been pretty serious so far. So, like, the facts of the incident. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside, and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. Wait, what? The body? He heard the gunshot, he saw the revolver, and then when he picked it up, he saw Gregson? What? That doesn't make sense. Wouldn't he have found the revolver right in front of Gregson? That's gotta be pressed, because that doesn't make sense. I mean, we're gonna press all his statements, but that testimony was the whole truth? It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants, and moments later a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. Clearly, your excuse is not that good. He's doing the clearly face. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Sogi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word. It's laughable. What's got into Kazuma? He's not behaving like himself at all. He's gone full prosecutor mode. Very well then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Cross-examination. Ooh, the Kazuma portrait on the cross-examination. This is good. This is juicy. This is juicy. I was investigating Gregson. So why were you investigating Gregson? Let's start there. You were investigating the inspector? What for? I'm not at liberty to say. Sorry? I'd identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand, then, that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene? No. I was privy to his movements in advance. How? I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense. As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Monseeks? I was aware of the possible consequences. So, in summary, you were investigating the victim, and yet you refused to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Ugh. Why did I ever think I could defend this man? It's funny, yesterday my mic was sliding down, now it's just resting perfectly in front of my face. Almost like too perfectly. I'm like used to adjusting it. I don't know what I did differently, but I guess maybe the more I fiddle with it, the worse it gets, I guess. If I don't mess with it, it's like fine. When I first entered the room oh, it was dark inside, okay. Had you ever been to the address before? No, never. I only learnt of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything. But at 5 p.m. the sun would only have just gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside. The room has a window, but it was boarded shut.
Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure he wouldn't have noticed if the victim... So we technically don't know the victim was killed at 5 p.m. He could have been killed much earlier. Von Zieks could have walked in there, heard a different gunshot, and seen the revolver. Now the question is where that different gunshot would have come from then. If that is... I don't know if that's where this is going at all. But that's a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. There's an oil lamp, yep. An oil lamp on it as well as the framed photograph, yep. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate. And what did you find? Nothing. I never actually reached the desk. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. So, who fired the gun? I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room. But you say it was very dark in there. Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another's presence. Aha! Then it could be... The gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room? No, that's out of the question. Oh. I like that Von Zieks, as the defendant, is countering the, outlandish Phoenix Wright pushes. Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder. So there was someone else in this room. So maybe my theory of, this being a different gunshot is a bit of... It's going from bad to worse. And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor. Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part. Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took into your hands. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. So he is theorizing another gunshot. Interesting. The question is, how did another gunshot come from inside the room? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. I love how quiet his table slap is. But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired? Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I, too, would dearly like to know that. Ugh. Hold it! A man, you say? You heard a man scream. One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street. Who are these merchants? A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process. But you're supposed to be the Reaper. The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gray... So, he looked in the direction of the door, and then he saw the body? Hold it! What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear? I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was. Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand? At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more. I see. I like that even Von Zeeks is like, I really don't know what happened. I'm very confused, to be honest. After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere. I have no idea.
Objection!
Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Barack Von Zeeks, is lying on multiple fronts. What? What is that supposed to mean? Good gracious, counsel. The defendant is lying, you say? The one who's accused of a murder? He's lying? That's so shocking. I've never seen that before. In his testimony just now, he claimed that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct. No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabra. Oh God, he's presenting evidence. He's doing what we do. How does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle. The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length. Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long. We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others. That must be because that particular candle was extinguished while the others were still burning. Ha! Clearly, when the candle was hit by the bullet, clearly it went out. But the other two candles would clearly still have been burning. Boom, boom, fine, discombobulate. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabra. And the accused claimed that he couldn't see the body. Clearly contradicts those facts. Ugh. And now to the next lie. There's more? The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right. We saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago. Oh God, it's a professor case conspiracy board. Was this Von Zeeks' little investigation room, not Gregson's? Uh-oh. There was a common thread linking all of the documents on that board. Indeed? What is this common thread, counsel? They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Barack Von Zeeks. All of them. And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Good Lord! Oh no. Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today. He's trying to argue that the board is a Reaper of the Bailey murder board, isn't he? Oh no, that's not good. Because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. Ba-na-na-na, ba-na-na-na. I just realized this is a remix of Kazuma's theme as like a prosecutor gotcha objection counter argument thing. In short, Jesus, what was that? In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations. Ugh. This this feels good. I love being a prosecutor. Ah! The Reaper's hide. That was dumb. And yet, the Reaper would claim never to have been in his own secret hideout? No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards. Backwards? Explain, Counsel. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. What? What?
Order! 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 Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Barak von Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asogi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts.
All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Kazum has done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution.
Yeah, I can tell. He plays this game like he's us. He's playing like us. He's thinking like us. He's using our moves. Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence.
Thank you, my lord. The notice board has been entered into the court record. Can we look at all the things on it now? Hold on. Before we go to the next, I want to look at this, because this... I mean, most of it is like tiny little scribble. I want to see if... These are there are details on a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there? This paper from 10 years ago is glowing with age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here.
The frickin' Red-Headed League stuff.
Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League? Exponent? What do you mean, exponent? I forgot you can't look at logs on here.
That's why you always look at the back of the evidence.
Oh, what's this? Mr. Naruhodo, look! Oh yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks just like a handprint. And the color. That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear. How disturbing.
Okay. No real way to look at the specific things on here, though. Alright. And now, the prosecution would like to call... Did it say new witness? He didn't say how many. New witnesses to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question.
They were mentioned in the previous testimony, too, if you remember. Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room.
Very well, lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand.
Certainly, my lord. It's a good time to alt-tab and check the audio. Check the stream. Certainly, my lord. Fade to black. Fade. What the hell? Oh god, this guy? Where have I seen this guy? So, witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. What the hell? Why is his lips like that? Why is his lips like that? I am flustered by these characters.
Names?
Oh, we don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us. We're just free and easy. Said what we like, live where we want to live.
I give them all a vacant stare as they walk down Fresno.
and spin a few words into a verse for them. Ah, would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street? Everyone calls me Gossip. Everybody calls me Goofy. I don't know why I'm doing Goofy, but this is what we're going with. He's got the clown lips. I gotta do like a clown voice. Everyone calls me Gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passersby, you know. Gosh. Jaunty little tidbits? Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your guinnel it is. 6 pence is the price, and not a penny less. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Gorsh! Come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Try the man. Give him the money and see what it is. Pay the man, counsel. Why does everybody care about this? Oh, it's 6 pence it is. You won't regret it, sir. Now, got your listening ears on? Hey, kids! What's the... it's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. A young couple on Slight Street have just had twins. It's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Is that it? Well, no, that's not it. It's gossip in it. It wants to spread. But that bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. Well, I've got more, you know. You want another juicy one? 6 pence apiece it is, if you're curious. I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from your... If that's a hickey, I swear to God. What about the next witness, then? What name do you go by, and what do you sell? Okay, this is the, from, the Layton and, Ace Attorney crossover, the character Estella. This is just the Estella design given a Red Riding Hood and, like, modified slightly. Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit? She's not, like, Red or Red Riding Hood? What kind of name? What, Venus isn't a pun? I sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids. Did she just light a firework on her ass? What is going on here? 6 pence a pop. What do you say? I hate witnesses. Do those actually sell? Oh yeah. The second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them if they get 100, they can blow up the school. Not the most savory of ideas, young lady. What do you say then, eh? Want a pot with 6 pence for a pop? What? Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the whole courtroom. Try the woman. Give her the money and see if she's right. Pay the woman, counsel. I don't know why I'm so into this today. What? Lovely stuff. There's something a bit extra just for you. The Venus Special. Only 600 pence. I'm not giving you that. I don't have 600 pence. That's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there? And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey, either. The Venus fire... Wait, that's going into the evidence log? Why? Okay. Okay, sure. What the hell? And the last witness. What name do you go by and what do you sell? I'm a thinker, me. You think all sorts of good thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. I think. Because did he just pick his nose? Oh no, he's grabbing his mustache. Okay. Because I stand there on the street, watching the world go on about me. They call me the observator. This guy's been in another case before. I don't remember if he was like a jury member or what, but I've seen this guy before. Get out of it, old man. Well, everyone calls you Sandwich, and you know it. Gorsh. So you don't actually sell anything. A problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. I give advice, I do, and think what it means. Hot! What does this say? Hot. Actual hero? What? What is it? What is going on? Don't actually sell anything. No. Come to his name is Sandwich. Why? How long do I have to talk to these people? No more purchases today, please.
Well, we have quite a cast here, it seems. It wouldn't be an Ace Attorney trial without a colorful cast of weirdo characters, eh?
They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place.
I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witnessed the crime.
Well, I'll be beggared, I thought. Gosh!
Just between ooze. Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw. Venus de Milo. Oh. And then his name is just Sandwich. I don't want to be here anymore.
Me when they bring out the goofy witnesses. I don't want to be here.
What I think is, if all what we see is light and shadow, I'm doing goofy. They're all just like the same character.
What I think is, if all what we see is light and shadow, praying with our eyes, is any of it real?
I'm not looking forward to interviewing these guys. the Sandwich speaks in riddles. Goofy speaks in gorsh, and the girl, I don't know, she seems like she might know more than she lets on. She's the only one who doesn't seem stupid.
Oh, I saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went in the building.
It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all had a big bang.
Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. God, we couldn't wait to go and see what had happened, God. I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. Gorsh.
I was scared after death, me, so I ran off to find a copper.
Like, she is, like, too cutesy. I feel like she's hiding something.
If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building? Oh yeah, if we want to prove there was a third person in there, we need to know who they saw. Yeah. Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Barack von Zeeks.
Oh, I've seen pictures of that Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. Oh, and just between us, for love stories like this, I've made myself a tidy sum already.
But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied.
Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot.
The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that seems like a bit of a waste of a property now. We know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Boone.
Hugh Boone? Humongous what? The testimony the court has just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than I just spit everywhere. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime. I'm having a meltdown on the stand.
Thank you for your candor, my lord.
If that's what you want to call it. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witness. I'm having an episode.
Yes, my lord. In a closed circuit like this without a jury, this is not going to be a long stream. I'm already like losing my mind. I have to break down this test. Break down! Break down! Break down! Break. Alright, we saw the whole thing from start to finish, everything from the moment they went in the building. When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Von Zeeks? Well, I suppose so. The lots of ooze don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I'll tell you one thing. It was the old Reaper that went in last, that's for sure and certain. Just behind Inspector Gregson. Did they arrive at the same time as each other? No, not at all. The first fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard that gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that? Am I sure? Gosh! Does it seem likely that I'd have forgotten a fellow with bright red hair like that? Ah! Red-headed gang! Ah! Red-headed gang! Yeah, his hair is really red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even. And that fiery red mop still burns on the inside of my eyelids, it is. Wait a minute. You're saying the man was a redhead? Weren't you listening, chum? Ah, he was a redhead, and he had a big trunk with him as well. But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red, not by any stretch of the imagination. It seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? Red-headed gang! Red-headed gang! That's Inspector Gregson, alright. And a red hairpiece. Ah, of course. We saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though. Why on earth would he have been wearing something like that? Color does seem to suit the man, oddly. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, Captain. And what became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene. So it just disappeared? What? Do you expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you? We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about that. In the dock? What do you mean? It's less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang. So we just went in there and shot the guy immediately, according to their plot. By which, presumably, you mean the gunshot. I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I've always thought it probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it? And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building. See, I feel like the fact that we have the firecrackers in the evidence log for some reason, I feel like it's gonna come into play that these sound like gunshots. Somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. Let's look at this dumb photo. He really is just wearing a red wig. Red-headed gang. Red-headed gang. We already have 2 pages of evidence. Oh boy. That's right. It was almost straight away. Bang it went. Oh, well, gosh, he's the Reaper, ain't he? It's what the French call a fait accompli. When the Reaper's around, people are going into the ground. I mean, that's what he does, ain't it? I think we get the message. The Reaper couldn't allow the Inspector to live after he discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clearer motive for the crime. Yes, certainly an eminently credible motive. Great. And at that point, you ran inside. Is that correct? Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. I don't care about this one. We're gonna skip this one and come back to it. The Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. I was scared half to death, so I ran off to find a cop. That's the end of the thing? Is I was scared half to death, so I ran off to... Hold it! Okay. So then you were the first person to arrive on the scene. Is that right? Well, that I was. Kicked the door open like a professional I did, and yelled off, "What's going off here?" Lord Von Zeeks claims all he heard was a man scream, though. And was it dark inside the room? No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall.
Really?
And there was a fella collapsed on the floor. Just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside.
Ah, I see.
Even though Lord Von Zeeks claims not to have seen any such lights on. The next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body. The accused, Barack Von Zeeks. That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. Well, I was a little shocked, I won't deny it. But I'm no lily-livered coward. I'm goofy, not scared. I stood my ground and gave that Reaper a cold, hard stare myself.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich? Mr. Sandwich. There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head I am. Just two slices with no middle. Oh, it's because he's wearing like boards in a sandwich. So I don't know what you could want with me. I think that maybe you just remembered something. Having heard Mr. Gossip's last statement, I mean. What I think is, well, all nothings really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street setters. Well, that's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap shut. Unless you want us to make you a real sandwich. I'm about to turn from Goofy into Pete the Cat. When he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over on his backside. That's it? Oh, you rotten beggar! I told you to keep that a secret. He screamed, he did. Screamed and scrambled off on all fours. That's all I wanted to say. Mr. Gossip, Mr. Goofy, is that true? The floor was dead slippery, that's why. And you know, I'm Goofy. Slippery floors. I go, whoa, and then I cartoon fall over like, boing. Planted my head in a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck! Gorsh! Oh, like gorsh! Cartoon. Well, listen here. Even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving that Reaper a cold, hard stare, and don't you forget it! Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hand? Oh, I did, Happens to the best of us at times, doesn't it? So I was scared, so I slipped over. We can keep it just between us, can we? No, Mr. Goofy. I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony. The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once. Because this contradicts, like, he shouldn't have been getting his hands on blood if the body is where we claim it is. So that's where we present this map.
Objection.
The witness's last statement is clearly contradictory when you consider this piece of evidence here. Yes, undeniably. Why isn't the music stopping? You say it's undeniable, counsel, but I fail to see any contradiction here at all. I think perhaps that itself is the contradiction. Indeed. Here's a strike. That's right, though. I think I need to press him a little more, get a little more info out of him. Because, like, he shouldn't have been able to slip and find blood. Slipped over and got blood on my hands, so he wiped it off on the floor. Oh, wait. I didn't read that part. He wiped off the blood on the floor. No, he didn't. He wiped it off on the back of this.
Objection.
So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection.
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is the defense asserting? If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asogi. He's gotten some balls since the last time I saw him.
Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint in blood left very clearly at the scene, on the back of this notice board. Oh gosh! Ah, yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood. Of course, you're dead right. That's my right hand. I'd know it anywhere. I call it righty.
Objection!
The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. What? Why would the... I mean, I guess that would explain the contradiction. I don't know what's going on. Just look at the floor plan of the room. Clearly, there's no way the board could have fallen onto the floor next to the Goofy. Even if it had somehow been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time, it would have been a considerable distance from the body. And a considerable distance from where Goofy McGossipston was standing. Like, that's the contradiction I was seeing, is there's no way he could have gotten blood on his hand if the body was all the way over there. I fell over when I came across the body, so I was basically right next to the corpse. Not on the other side of the room. In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. This is the contradiction I was trying to trap him in. The one of where the body is, yeah. There must be a reason for this contradiction. I take it that you've formulated a proper hypothesis, Counsel. Or either that, or you're about to make one up. Either way, I'm gonna need one regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene. I'm about to make one up, my lord. Hopefully I'm right. This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by... False testimony is an easy answer, but I feel like I wouldn't be getting this prompt if it was false testimony. The board moving. Let's do it. None of these really sound. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down. Good gracious, so it is! The contradictions just keep building up! If the witness had put his hand against the board, the finger should be pointing upwards. What does that tell us? I don't know. It tells one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested, which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. So somebody tampered with the crime scene. Oh, well, gosh! You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting. Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point. And that would be the position of the notice board at the time of the incident. So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated? Oh, crap. The position of the notice board. So he came in the door. See, the thing I'm still stuck on is he came in the door, but the body's over here. So how did he, like, the door, especially when the door opens this way, like, let's assume he's in this doorway here. The door should have been blocking the body. I don't think the body's in the right place. I'm gonna say here.
Take that!
And then if that doesn't work, I'm gonna put it actually over by the body, where they think the body is. I'm afraid I don't quite see your logic. I'm disappointed, Ryunosuke. In Japan, we're taught to have patience and respect for our elders. So until his lordship sees your logic, you will know your place and not move from that spot. I wasn't planning to. Thanks for the strike.
How brilliant of Kazuma-sama. That almost sounded unreasonable at first, but he was just thinking of you. Unreasonable? Try unfathomable. Anyway, I think I have the answer now. I know my place. Or rather, I know the board's place. Alright, let's put it near where they say the body is, but it still doesn't... Like, did the guy walk in the room and walk over here? That doesn't, like, match up with anything.
Take that!
It was right here, my lord. Goodness! That also doesn't make sense. What? Where? I'm so confused. Where's the body then? Or the board? What? Doesn't the board have to be there? It has to be either where they think the body is, or where the guy who came in the room is. Did I just, like, click a couple inches off the right spot? At the time of the incident... That would be over here. Unless the body's not over there, the board has got to be either in front of Goofy or in front of the body. There's nowhere else it could be. Wait a minute. 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 Board. Gregson appears. Board blocks view of Gregson. Door smacks board. Board falls over. Somehow Goofy... I guess maybe if the door swung all the way open here... this is like some Rube Goldberg machine shit. Goofy swings door open. Door opens this way. Smacks board. Board somehow falls in front of him, though. See, that's what I'm like. How did the door? Because I'm thinking that would explain how Von Zieks didn't see Gregson and then saw Gregson. Is somehow Goofy opening the door makes the board that is blocking the view of the body fall over. So at the time of the incident, meaning the time of the murder, the board was like here? Like where the door would have hit it?
Take that!
This is the only possible location. Okay, yeah. Immediately adjacent to the doorway. If the court would think back, Von Zieks said that when he entered the room it was dark, and he couldn't see the body. But heck! If the notice board had been there, the body would have been completely hidden from view. And the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker. Kind of, I guess. If Von Zieks was, like, standing over here, then yeah, I guess, sure. This is weird physics-wise. That's not what I meant to click. The accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in his precise words, just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me, because the door knocked over the board. Well, I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me, and no mistake. Because it was me that kicked the door open. If you look again at the floor plan, consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force. Okay, yeah. It knocks the thing over. The problem is the door is still visually in the way. So I don't... Like, unless the door just kept swinging all the way around, I feel like that's kind of a weird, like, setup. But my client has told nothing but the truth. He simply described what he saw. The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible. Ah! Well, gosh! That sure is crazy! Counsel, how has this not come to light before now? After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it. into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room. Which means the killer could have easily been standing behind the board somehow. Or like standing in front of the board with Gregson and shot him. And then like goofy cartoon clown shows up and just like throws everything into disarray. What do you have to say for yourself, Goofy from Mickey Mouse? What? Me, my lord! Oh, gosh! You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board. The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Stop looking over your glasses at me. I get the message. Witness testimony. The mystery of the moving board. I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time. The other two witnesses are kind of like pointless here. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander. Me, just a sign at the crossroads of life. Who was that reaper, I bet? He's got a face that screams bored. What? These guys are stupid. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. I don't see how this changes anything. So none of you can elaborate further. I swear if the gunshot he heard was the, like, firecracker girl somehow, or, like, somebody lighting a firecracker, and he died ages ago. Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. Like, if Gregson actually died ages before, or not ages before, but if Gregson actually died much earlier, and Von Zieks heard somebody set off, like, the firecracker, then that is a very, like, that is an incredibly unlucky string of events for him to make him look that suspicious. We can't expect, shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see, we can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. That's right, yeah. It don't pay to expect too much. It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think. Do you? Really? I hate these guys. In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could have possibly committed this crime is Baroque von Zieks. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact. Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances? Most certainly, my lord. Very well. Then you may proceed, counsel. The mystery of the moving board. I don't know anything about that there notice board. It's safe 'cause we only have 2 strikes. Oh, I was like, what is this first save that is like old? It's the end of the first game. Got it. I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all. So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on? Admit it? What's to admit? It's there, plain as day for all to see. A smashing print of my old writing. Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint? You righted the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you? No, gorsh! Imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man? Well, did you see anybody else moving the board?
Well, I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. And there was precious little light inside either. What? What happened to the room being well lit? Bottom lip was all liver. Gosh. In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point, and you should stop asking him about it, please. I find him annoying too.
Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. Okay, this is...
I don't know anything about it. I'm just a bystander. He's got a face that... Okay, what do you mean by he's got a face that screams bored? Oh, come on now. Don't tell us you're not noticed. It looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella. But not notice boards. They're the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes.
I can't say I'd ever noticed.
I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor, or off the Reaper, not for a second.
Sorry?
Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a fiend like that might do if you look away, do you?
If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board.
Well, I should, shouldn't I? Should I? Aye, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. I couldn't have missed it if he'd aved the thing upright again and dragged it into the corner.
Right. Glad we've cleared that up, I think. What happened to the face that screams bore?
The face that screams bore. I feel your pain. Was that like start with...
What happened to the face that screams bored?
I feel your pain, Kazuma. Goofy.
I can't see. I still died when he heard the gunshot.
It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, wasn't it? Maybe the notice board fell over, or maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over, or maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed either way, because of that gunshot we all heard. So your fate's sealed too. My fate?
That's right. The defense is fated to lose, and the prosecution to win. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. So if I could just find some problem with that part of the story, it may be possible to change all our fates.
Of course. None of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard, does it?
Not much to go on. As you've pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question that the notice board was moved. Somebody must have done it. But it did happen after the event, so maybe Kazuma is right and it's not relevant to the case? But it seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view. What? No, what? Oh, you mean... Oh, okay. She's saying it was positioned where it was in front of the door specifically to hide the body from view.
And then somebody moved it. So we're talking about somebody moved it before and after. Or like after the murder, but before. Gosh!
Like, yeah, okay. I feel sure there's some deeper significance to all of this.
It goes along with my theory that Gregson was dead for far longer than we think he was.
What do we have? What does the autopsy report say about Gregson's death? I haven't really looked at it yet. Victim Tobias Gregson.
Sam, Tobias Gregson is dead. Coroner Mariah Gorey. Gorey.
Victim was shot in the chest, a close search from the front. Scorch marks at point of entry.
No actual, like, proof of when it happened. When it happened is just based on when they saw him enter the building. Although the whole redhead thing puts it into question of, like, what if somebody else with actual red hair came into the building and that's who they saw? That they thought was Gregson? But even then, that person would have had to get out of the building somehow.
Yeah, because the fact remains that somebody went into the building slightly before Von Zieks did. Like, even if Gregson died, like, 4 hours beforehand, somebody still went in there, like, 4 minutes before. Doesn't really show much. I feel like somebody literally could have put this wig here. No, cause like maybe he didn't go like somebody else came in with red hair who then snuck out without the red hair because he left the wig on Gregson, a member of the redheaded gang, perhaps. I don't know. I'm kind of just spitballing right now. Looked at this. I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like. That doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you? I'm not sure that's quite how I'd put it. You must have to use lots of bird line to keep it in place on your head, so it doesn't get blown off by a gust of wind, I mean. That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, don't you think? Alright, so that was just filler dialogue. Okay. Maybe... not really much there. This is the title of all the standard issue for members of the judiciary. They have unique serial numbers? There's nothing like that on this gun. Which tells us it must have been issued longer ago than 5 years, where they started the serial numbers, I think. I kind of sped through that text. Okay, this one doesn't let me rotate. It's just the image. Taking the time to look through all the evidence I didn't really look at earlier, last stream. The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear. I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if somebody has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too? For fun? Whoa, what the... What? This is actually lore? I thought we were just screwing around. It appears to be some sort of key. Oh, it's tiny, though. Couldn't be a key for a door. That's... that could be important later. This is a surprise tool that will help us later! This looks like some sort of key. Yes, it does. A very tiny and simple key. What's a little key doing inside of a... It's his cock. What? Who's shaking around in the back? Oh, it's the dumb sign guy. They're all shaking around back here. Okay. Alright, let's press these, like, filler statements from the other two. When you say you were doing business with them, does that mean you were selling them fireworks? Yeah, what else? There's the Priory School just around the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow their school to kingdom come. Ah. I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to. Oh, you have? Yeah, I wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off of them. And then they come buy new ones. That's good. Kids all come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see? What a racket. Of course. And sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life, selling explosives. Venus is a guileful goddess indeed. Well, telling Bella-faced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it.
She's admitting she's a liar while on the stand. Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich? Why is it always this guy who has something to say about what they said?
If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
No. Did Miss Venus's statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts. Hmm? Let's say there was a great liar. And that great liar said, without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie true? Or the truth? In which case, she's not a liar. Ooh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think?
I mean, it is a weird thing to say in court, but I don't know how this is relevant. Are you suggesting Miss Venus has been lying? Lying about what? She hasn't given us any information yet.
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you?
Yeah, she's too, like, cutesy.
Keep on like that. And I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set 'em off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
It's just, like, creepy. Like, you have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady. Yeah, you're a bit sus. So Miss Venus has lied in her test. Red sus! Red sus! Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich? Red sus?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, I think she's the imposter.
Can you elaborate, please, sir?
Well, you see, old Blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. That rotten liar over there.
Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all? What did I tell you, hey? This is my chance to be goofy. Once the goofy witnesses leave, it's like serious time again.
I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I?
Yes, you mentioned it.
Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it?
Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch? So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief!
Well, now you come to mention it, I suppose, perhaps. I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room. Yeah.
Either you clearly remember it or you don't. Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurous act later. Please, for the time being, amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh, yes, my lord, of course. Hee hee. Hee hee. Maybe I did sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek into the room where it all happened.
Hold it!
And what did you see? You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus?
Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I'd take everything I say with a big pinch of salt.
Alright, so you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you?
Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know.
Did you touch anything at the scene?
Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I looked to see if there was anything valuable, anything I could sell. So I did give the place a once over, but it was nothing to write home about.
Right. Now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you?
Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I ask.
The truth, please.
Well, alright then. I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flippin' thing. Sorry, flippin' the blasted thing. Flip what?
Did she blow it up, or did she... You're telling us that you did move the board.
I think that did slip out, didn't it?
Gosh, you daft barn pot! That's a funny sentence to say in the goofy voice.
I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think.
So, did you find anything? Something that you might have taken, perhaps, to sell?
Oh, please. I should be so lucky.
It might have the truth now!
Yeah, I might have found this old pocket watch under the noteboard, I suppose. But a bit old junk like this can't be worth that much if you ask me. Ah! Ginny?
What is Ginny doing? What is it? Why is she freaking out about this?
So it was you, was it? You're the one what took it?
Gina? Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
That watch there. That was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub.
I see.
I swapped it off him and blimey was he upset. He gave me a right earful. Never did it again. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did.
Possibly not the best thing to go diving for.
It's not all that, though. I took it to Jebba's that night to ask how much it was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it, said it wasn't working. Knocked about and worthless, he called it. Ig! I knew I should have lifted it. So that you couldn't lift it from him instead.
That watch must be submitted as evidence at once.
Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again. I'm a better diver than you'll ever be.
That's enough! Hand the watch to the bailiff forthwith. Nobody gets to touch that except the lawyers. Only the lawyers get to touch the watch, and me. That should go without saying. In fact, let me see that watch. I need to... Good Lord! The glass appears to be broken. What a revelation! I don't know why that was worth a good Lord. More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot.
It doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh?
Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5. A time marker. Exactly when the gunshot was heard. See, if it had stopped earlier, that would, support my, he died earlier theory, but... Fortunately, that backs up the prosecution's, claim of the time of death. It would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least. The mystery of the moving notice board is over. And as predicted, clearly, it had very little bearing on the case. Ugh. Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please, Counsel. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. It was that vapor, I bet. And now we're back to he's got a face that screams bored. All of that. And we still are on the same testimony. Okay, let me investigate this watch. Wait a minute. It's a tiny little keyhole here. A keyhole! There's a surprise tool that will help us now. You just need the right key. Something a bit about a key. It would be wonderful if we've had a key. A key! A key! A key! Which piece of evidence was the key in again? The gun. No. What piece of evidence was the key in?
We spent so long talking to the stupid girl. The doll. The doll. That's right. Like, I don't even remember what piece of evidence the key was in. Okay, I gotta click on the head again. Mash through all this text. Have him expand the key. Click on the key again. Really couldn't just stay expanded in the inventory, huh? Do you think perhaps this key? Oh, yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. Not a moment. I forget you can't look at the history when you're in this little menu. Alright. I knew it. A perfect fit. And look, the inspector's watch has started going again. Ah, so it has obviously just not been wound up, that's all. What is it, Miss Susada? Well, if the watch isn't actually broken after all, I have a feeling it could have profound implications. I mean, probably, but I'm not sure what those implications are yet. Okay. Being wound up, it started ticking again. Okay. Interesting. Gas over the face, really badly cracked. I imagine Mr. Sholmes could repair it. Yes, I think so. What is this? There's a tiny little stub sticking out from the small hole here. Look. I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that for setting the time. In that case, as we know the inspector took such good care of this watch. Probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it? Yes, of course. Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene, maybe. Alright, that'll be something to find when we go into round 2 of investigations later. If we get there. Okay. Alright, let's keep... He's got a face that screams bored. Just a bystander, a sign at the crossroads of life. Can't see how this changed. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. The watch ticking is, like, interesting, but I don't know... It doesn't really contradict anything. We've done so much... We've been on this, like, testimony for, like, 20 minutes, and I still really don't have any leads. Don't know anything about anything. Just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. Let's press this one, I guess. We haven't... You did go to see what happened in the room, didn't you? Fresno Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my sign up high. So you did go to see what had happened. It's not the destination that's important. It's how... Can you just give me a straight answer, you stupid old man? This guy's actually annoying. If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the sign family. So if I'd spotted it, I might have tried to trip it up out of a sense of rivalry. I'd admit... What? What do you mean? What? Huh? Are you saying you moved it? No, she moved it. What are you talking about, dude? Someone really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapiens, not Homo science. Does that mean that you didn't notice the board? I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about any. I'm just a... this guy is painful. Okay, I need out of this section of the trial. I don't care about who moved the damn note board. You moved the note board. We know this already. What am I doing here? This desecration of the truth is really rather disturbing. But honestly, it's more annoying than anything. Move on, please. Okay. Who was that Reaper? I bet he's got a face that screams bored. What a pointless line of dialogue. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Fate sealed 2. Your fate is sealed to lose. I don't... What? What am I doing? What am I doing? Pointed out, there's no question that the notice board was moved. Somebody must have done it. It did happen after the event. Maybe Cosmo. No, it's... So I feel like somebody moved it before and somebody moved it after. But why? No doubt there are more clues. I've uncovered more clues. It's so annoying when you're like finding all these clues, but you don't know how to counter any of these people's... Like, you guys are giving me nothing right now. I can't counter you guys because you aren't giving me anything. Let's press this stupid guy again, see if he's got any new text. Like, we already know who moved the noteboard. It was the girl. How did that not, like... Maybe I did sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek into the room where it all happened. Like, the watch doesn't... The watch is the new piece of evidence, which would make me think it needs to be presented, but... Where could we possibly present that? Here? This is the only... The detective still died when we heard the gunshot, which I feel like maybe isn't true, but, like... This isn't gonna prove that, is it? What does this have to do with that? It's not necessarily the case. At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. Great. What is... Like, wound the pocket watch, we discovered it still works. So, the watch didn't stop because it was broken, meaning the time of death didn't have to be 5 p.m. But it would have still, like, the watch still had to get to 5 p.m. Are we saying he died after 5 p.m.? Okay. That fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been when the murder happened. Yeah, okay. But that doesn't actually contradict his statement, though. I mean, I guess it gets us to where we want to go anyway. The watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock. Yeah, the watch is just when we heard the gunshot. It is! Exactly the hour. The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock. So what you're telling me is the watch doesn't actually matter at all. It does not prove anything. We can remove it from the evidence log, maybe?
Objection.
Like, this doesn't prove... My thing is, the watch doesn't... It doesn't prove that the murder happened at 5, but it also doesn't prove the murder didn't happen at 5. It doesn't prove anything at all. The 3 witnesses have all heard gunshots at 5 o'clock, so clearly that's when this crime was committed. Why is this smudge? My monitor is dirty. No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. Oh, okay, so we're saying the last time he wound it up was the day before? So he could have been murdered any time in that, like, day of time frame, I guess. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. I meant the world to him, that watch did. The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day. Oh, winding his watch in the evening. You know, that's my bad, because I kind of, like, I didn't really, like, go back and look through what Gina said again. Because there was no way to, like, I could have reviewed the logs, but there was no way to, like, replay what she said by pressing somebody. So I so if he was in the habit of winding his watch in the evening, then in theory, the fact that it was like it hasn't been winded since 5 indicates that he didn't wind it the evening before. I mean, unless the 5 is 5 a.m. That's something we're not considering. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well. Yes, that would be entirely reasonable. But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day. Okay, I also don't understand how watches work. How they were wounded up, or, like, I don't know how long a watch takes to wind up and down. So, in summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. The evening before. He was dead way before then. I mean, it's kind of what I thought from the beginning. The second Von Zeeks was like, Von Zeeks said, I don't know, what exactly did he say? He said something like, that body, like, the body could have been there the whole time, or like, something that implied that the murder could have happened way before, and I've had that theory since then, for the last, like, hour and a half. But the way we got to that information was very roundabout. What would stop a man from winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead. Counsel, that is a most extraordinary claim.
Objection.
Extraordinary isn't the word. It's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before. Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that? Well, on that subject, there is something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. It doesn't say the time of death at all. That's why I've been, like, on this train the whole time. I just had to figure out how to get to it. Wait a minute! You're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked the door in! What do you mean? Well, like I said, I planted my hand in a dirty great puddle of blood. Which is a part that still doesn't make sense to me. How did he, like, fall into the victim's blood when the body was over by the wall? The positioning of this scenario is still kind of weird to me. So the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh. He catches on fast, doesn't he? But that blood could be explained in any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards.
Objection.
Some fresh blood could have been... Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner? He just pulled the my learned friend thing on me. Somebody's been taking some lessons from Von Zeeks. Okay. Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. I like that this is kind of the reverse of when Von Karma prosecuted on the Edgeworth case, where instead of the master prosecuting the trial of the apprentice, it's the apprentice prosecuting the trial of the master. Interesting. It needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human. The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities. So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example. It's certainly a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all. This whole crime scene was staged.
Objection.
I assumed he still died in the room. But, like, or like, you know, like he died, like, a few hours before or something. The gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question. Is it, though? What? Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, isn't it beyond the realms of possibility that it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all? It was probably freaking firecrackers. It's been my theory since the beginning. She literally just threw her firecrackers, proving my point. Who thought know what we heard? And it was a loud bang that came from that there room. Now you listen to me, a street seller's ears are his livelihood. I don't doubt your ears, sir, but all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise. What? Gorsh? Explain yourself, then, Count. A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with why else would the fireworks be in my inventory? Like, now I'm on it. Now we're rolling to the theory that I came up with an hour ago. We just needed the watch to, like, prove it. The culprit could have used something like this, for example. Oh, really? A demonstration is in order, then, I feel. Please set off the fireworks in the courtroom. Yes, please. Show the court how you could use that to create a noise like a gunshot. We're waiting, counsel. I may have been mistaken. It looks like you've been making a lot of... Is this a strike? This ain't a strike. What? Why are there firecrackers in my inventory, then? I realize it may be difficult to retract what you said and present some... I've had this ever for like a year. What's the stupid firecracker doing in my inventory, then? What? What is going on? What is going on? What is this? What is that? Just set them off. Blow up the whole courtroom. I don't know what it... Nothing else makes a loud noise. What? What? I'm presenting the firecracker again. Because this is right. I'll blow up the whole place. That will do. As this is a closed trial, the findings of this court will not be disclosed to the public. However, this will be the very last time the Reaper stands in this or any other courtroom. But, oh my lord, firecrackers do make a gunshot sound, sir! She blows up everything. Barak von Zieksch, in accordance with the findings of this court, I pronounce you guilty. Bro, I thought I was on it. I thought I had the lore locked in. Why else would they give me the firecracker? Alright. Well, yeah. Oh, I got it. It's not. It's on no for some reason. Alright, what the hell? A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with... The gun? The gun made a noise that sounds like a gunshot? The gun could have made a noise? The gun would make a noise. The gun, like gun. The gun. The gun. I don't like this. I don't like this trial. I mean, I like this case, but I don't like this trial section. Noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with the board falling over? That doesn't sound like a gunshot, though. A fire sounds more like a gunshot than that. The watch? That's not loud. There's no loud noise, a loud bang. Like the firecracker. What the hell are these in here for? Why else do I have the Venus special firecracker in my inventory? Is it so I can blow somebody up later? The board fell over and it crashed really loud, sir. Oh, really? As loud as a gunshot? Yes, please, show the court how you could make a gunshot happen. Looks like you've been making a lot of noise yourself. Yeah, I have, actually. I've been screaming a lot. I'm about ready to cut stream. That's useless. Got all this stuff about the Vigil family. I haven't even come up yet. And the wig. I really don't. I'm like, what else in here? The candle?
Take that!
I'm just gonna start throwing stuff at the door. Bitch, what? We're all waiting! I'm thinking of that dumb video again. And you're not listening! Bitch, bitch, what? Honestly, could have made a gunshot is the watch.
Take that!
All right. This is the okay. There's exactly what everything else. Everything that I haven't presented here is a piece of paper. Piece of paper. Piece of paper. Piece of paper. Red wig. Portrait. Piece of paper. Piece of paper. Piece of paper. Piece of paper. My attorney's badge. There is exactly one piece of item.
Take that!
I don't. Do I not have the evidence for this yet? Did I not get something? What time is it? I've been going for almost 2 hours. Seems like a good place to stop, actually. Well, except I haven't saved, so I'll probably... I gotta save here before I can... Me... It sounds like a gunshot. Okay. Okay, let's save. And start presenting random pieces of paper, since we're here. Red-headed League. I haven't actually read this. On account of because of the late Ezekiel Hopkins of Lebanon, Pennsylvania, USA. What in the hell? What is this red-headed League shit? What is going on? Okay. Like these are all just photos. The red wig make the noise? The red wig! It was really loud and it made a gun sound. Like, there are only so many things that could logically make a gun sound. And you're telling me it's not the firecracker. I'm still, like, I don't think I've ever been more baffled to be wrong in an Ace Attorney game. Because they gave me this firecracker item for no reason. And they're talking about the gun is a loud bang, and you're telling me it's not a Venus fire. You're telling me it's not the firecracker. I mean, there definitely was a gunshot. It's just a question of what the hell made that noise at the time.
Take that!
I'm gonna run out of pieces of evidence.
Take that!
I'm presenting, like... I'm not entirely sure I have the evidence for this. Like, there's nothing in here that makes any sense. Everything I have left is just pieces of paper. Is there something in this photo that... What is that? Is that his belt?
Take that!
Alright, we've been going for 2 hours. This is a great way to get me, like, unhooked. So I'm then fine with not playing for, like, 2 weeks. Because I'm actually, like, pretty annoyed by this. What the hell? I thought I was finally on the right track. And now you're telling me that, like, something in my inventory made a gunshot sound. And it wasn't the Venus... It wasn't the firecrackers that make a bang sound. What sort of a bang could it make? I wonder. Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruhodo? You're staring at the end of a string of fireworks. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how this isn't the evidence I need to present. It's the Venus special. It's 600 pence worth of fireworks. It probably sounds like a gunshot. She said it could blow up the courtroom. But, yeah, we probably should find out what it sounds. Okay. Alright. It was a fairly sizable bang. My ears are still ringing. It sounded almost exactly like... No! 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 Why did I have to set it off in my inventory before it works as a piece of evidence? That's so stupid! I could just set it off in the courtroom when they asked me to. That's dumb. It is the...
Take that!
It's the firecracker. I told you it was the firecracker. And I just set it off. Does it not sound like a gun? Throw it. Throw it and make it sound like a gun. I have the big one. The big one sounds like a gun. Fart gun. So it's very much like a gunshot, in fact. You're trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks off at the... I'm mad. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. They sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for those peddlers on Fresno Street to hear. The thing is, I rotated the camera around the firecracker already. I just didn't touch the spot where you can actually investigate. So I didn't think there was anywhere to click and anything to interact with it. Even the accused himself has testified he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Barack von Zeeks. What if he did cause the bang somehow? Somebody set it to go off with the first person who walked in there. So that people would run up there, see whoever came in with a gun, and then be like, haha. Ooh. One whiff of a match and my firecrackers go pop. See, it's why people like them. I fear for your fingers.
Objection!
Of course it was the fire. It couldn't have been anything else. I just had to press a little button. And then I end up having to set it off in the dialogue exchange anyway. So why do I have to do it in the inventory first? Recently, like, I have to update the piece of evidence for it to literally say it sounds like a gunshot in order for me to present it, when it obviously I can use common sense to tell me that it sounds like a gunshot. I've learned of a very useful invention indeed, something called a time bomb. No! No! It's time to stop! It's time to stop! Filthy Frank, it's time to stop. A device that allows you to blow up whenever you like, whenever you like. Mr. Naruhodo, I worry that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident.
Ah! No, wait, it's the whenever you like part that's important.
A timed device.
Oh my god, there was an actual time bomb this time. The time bomb! The time bomb is real!
Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left.
Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, Count.
What proof do I have to suggest that a time...
I don't know! I don't know! It took me 20 minutes just to get the firecracker evidence to work. Ah! Ah!
Take
Watch.
that!
Oh my god, it worked. You're suggesting this could have been used as some sort of time delay device. A time bomb, time explosion device. An anti-gravity device. That's what it was.
I did think so, my lord, but it's becoming increasingly clear
Objection.
that we've all been very misguided here.
Wait, that's not even the answer? Then why did I bring it up? Stop cutting off the music and making me think I did it right! I'm cutting the stream. It's time to stop. This will be the very last time I stand in the courtroom until the next stream, which isn't happening for like another 2 weeks. Sorry, Great Ace Attorney fans. I'm having a meltdown. I'm rage quitting the game. Doors! 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 Goodbye.